They told the mountain rescue team it was already too late. The storm had crushed the valley below, winds tearing at the cliffs like knives, snow falling so hard it drowned out the world. No aircraft could pass through without breaking apart. Every expert said the same thing. No drone, no satellite, no helicopter could survive that chaos. The radio calls from the trapped climbers had stopped 3 hours earlier. The last thing command had heard was a voice breaking through static. "We can't see the trail anymore. Too injured. Don't come for us." After that, only silence remained. Inside the operations tent, officers argued over maps lit by red markers. One muttered, "If we send a bird in, we lose the crew as well." Another said, "Visibility is 0. No one flies blind through that pass." The commander shook his head. "We're calling recovery, not rescue." But at the back of the room stood Captain Elias Kane, a pilot who had flown missions others called suicide. He didn't argue. He simply stared at the mountain's contour lines and said quietly, "There's a break in the ridge on the west side. If I hug the rock face, I can ride the draft in." The room went silent. The commander's voice was sharp. "You'd have less than 50 feet. Clearance in the storm." Kane's answer was calm. 40, if the snow drags me. "Lower," another officer warned. "Your instruments won't read in there. You'll be flying blind." Kane shook his head. "Not blind, just close." He didn't wait for permission. He turned and walked out. No one stopped him. In the hangar, his Black Hawk stood ready. Mechanics moved fast, tightening straps, checking blades, strapping down extra fuel and med kits. The bird looked less like a machine and more like a predator crouched in shadow. He climbed into the cockpit, strapped in, and began the sequence. The engines roared, the blades turned, and the hangar shook with raw power. Crew chiefs stepped back as the helicopter lifted into the storm. "God help him," one whispered. The mountains rose ahead like jagged teeth, snow sweeping across their faces. Kane flew low, hugging the ground, keeping his radar signature small. The pass opened before him like a throat swallowing him whole. He pushed forward, and the world turned white. Radio crackled alive. "We see." Lights. North slope collapsing. "We can't." Then silence again. His thermal showed faint signatures, tiny fires burning. Against the snow, he banked left, dropped lower, and the storm screamed around him. Ice coated the windshield. He leaned in, flying by instinct alone. Then shapes moved on his display. Dozen figures around the climbers, not rescuers, not friends. Mountain raiders had found them first armed with rifles and gear scavenged from wrecks. They weren't here to help. They were here to finish it. Kane pressed lower, his rotors nearly scraping stone. He armed the cannon pods strapped to his side and fired. A burst of rounds cut across the slope. Raiders scattered. Snow exploded. Fire lit the storm. Below, a voice shouted through static, "We see you! We see you!" Kane's voice was steady as stone. "Stay low. Move when I tell you." 2 trucks appeared on the frozen road, climbing toward the trapped climbers. Kane lined them up, loosed rockets, and the night burned bright. The first truck vanished in fire. The second tumbled off the cliff into the abyss. Command broke through, faintly, storms worsening, reinforcements. 2 minutes out, can you hold? Kane's reply was flat steel. "I'll hold." He swept across the slope again. The raiders regrouped higher, setting up something bigger. Missile launcher. He could see the heat from their battery even through the storm. He did not climb. He dove straight at them, cannon blazing. The launcher toppled, crushed under fire, but the warning tone screamed in his cockpit. "Lock missile inbound." He banked hard, flare systems frozen by ice. No defense left. He did the only thing left, drove the Black Hawk directly at the missile's path. The weapon lost lock. spiraled and exploded in the snow behind him. He just ate a missile with his rotor. "Wash," a voice gasped over radio. Kane said, "Nothing." He only turned back toward the climbers. The reinforcements arrived, 2 heavy transports fighting the storm. Struggling to hold steady, they needed the valley cleared to land. Kane circled them, carving a wall of fire around their descent. Every raider who moved was cut down. Snow turned red in the rotor wash. A sudden flash. An RPG streaked out of the blizzard. Aimed at the transport, Kane dove between, his helicopter taking the path. The rocket clipped his tail rotor and detonated. The Black Hawk screamed, alarms blaring, frame shuddering, but Kane pulled it steady, forcing the crippled bird back into line. Below, the climbers scrambled aboard the transports. A voice cried, "We're secure. We're off the ground." Kane's fuel gauge blinked empty. Command barked, "You won't make it out with them. Pull back." His answer came calm, "I'll be light." The transports lifted, carrying survivors into the storm. Kane's helicopter coughed, sputtered, then caught again. He forced it alongside them, limping through the pass. The storm fought to crush him, but he clung to the sky until the valley opened and the night calmed. He landed hard at base, skidding across ice, rotors slowing to silence. He climbed out, helmet under his arm, face streaked with sweat. No cheers, no applause. The crew simply stood in silence, watching with respect. In debrief, an officer snapped, "He disobeyed protocol." The commander's reply was colder. He disobeyed death. Days later, a helmet cam leaked online. It showed his Black Hawk vanishing into whiteout, guns flashing, rockets firing, blades screaming against the storm. The internet gave him a name, the pilot who danced with the blizzard. He was grounded for months, then returned as an instructor. He did not teach recklessness. He taught awareness, how to read the wind, how to feel the storm press against your frame, how to know when altitude means safety and when closeness means survival. Years later, a student asked him, "Why did you go when everyone told you not to?" Kane looked at the snow falling beyond the glass and answered simply, "Because someone had to, and because they weren't gone yet." Remember this, sometimes the storm looks like an ending, and sometimes it is an opening. If no one else flies it, you go.